Right, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time now since I've actually put a video together, with my last publication back on the 6th of August 2023. If you're new to the channel or you just can't remember what I'm all about, this channel is designed to show you that literally anybody can make a difference to their wealth via investing, even if it is just little and often. I started my investing journey back in May of 2019, and I believe it was around the 26th of May that I invested my first £500. So almost 5 years to the day now since I opened my first Vanguard ISA. I then began documenting my journey back in May of 2020, so a year after I'd started investing. And that was because I had significantly more time on my hands throughout COVID lockdowns. Over the next few days, you'll see a few videos coming out updating you on progress in my Vanguard portfolio, my Trading 212 portfolio, my Coinbase portfolio, and then of course I'll do a video to draw it all together to show you where my invested total net worth currently sits at 5 years on from starting my investing journey. Now remember, this channel is all about showing what real people can do, and I've achieved all that I'm going to show you through small and incremental amounts invested every single month consistently over time. As I said, we're going to start off today by looking at my Vanguard portfolio. As I said, about 5 years now since I first opened it. My last update on checking my YouTube channel on this portfolio was actually on the 23rd of July 2023, so around 10 months ago. And at that time, you can see that the portfolio was valued at £17,213. At that time, my portfolio was up 37.84%, and my largest holding was in the S&P 500 with a total value of around £8,610. So without further ado, let's hop into my Vanguard portfolio and see exactly where my Vanguard ISA is at 5 years after starting my own investing journey. So my Vanguard ISA currently sits at a total value of £22,643.65, and that accounts for around 70% of my overall net worth. My personal rate of return is up massively to 67.71%, and my largest holding, still in the S&P 500, is now valued at £11,349. You'll notice that so far this year I've only spent around £380 of my ISA allowance within Vanguard, but that's also because I am also investing in Trading 212 via an ISA now, and additionally I haven't made my monthly deposit for the month of May yet. So we'll start off, as with any portfolio update, by clicking through to the performance tab and having a look at exactly what's going on. Now, as I said, I'm about 5 years in, so what you'll notice is that Vanguard automatically situates it to a 5-year time frame when it's looking at portfolio progression. So we'll click through to Inception and we'll see that my portfolio actually started on the 24th of May 2019. Today is of course the 29th of May 2024, but near as makes no difference, 5 years to the day. In that time, I've invested and contributed the total of £17,460 to this ISA. So we're looking at around £3,500 per year, or an average of approximately £300 per month. Now, when I first started investing, I was investing around £100 to £150 per month. And that's incrementally increased as I've progressed through my career and started side hustles, which has meant that I can afford to invest more into my investment portfolios. Throughout that time, my investment has returned to me £5,183.65. And the graph down the bottom here will show you actually how that looks over time. You'll notice, funnily enough, COVID on this graph as this little blip just down here, which looks insignificant now in comparison to some of the larger moves that we've seen more of late. Now that's largely because my portfolio is now larger, so a 1 or 2% swing probably equates to the massive pullback that we saw back here in terms of monetary value. But again, it shows the importance of continuing to invest throughout all different market conditions, because I managed to invest a lot of capital throughout this period of time, which now is reaping the rewards of compound growth. We'll also have a look over the last year just to see actually what's been going on over the last year for me. And you can see that in the last year I have invested just under £3,000. Obviously I've had a wedding in the last year, had a honeymoon and a lot of other financial expenses, more coming up very soon as well. But over that time, my investments have returned to me just over £3,000 at £3,153.14, netting me a year rate of return, time-weighted rate of return of 17.68%. So in essence, my portfolio has increased in size by £6,000 in 1 calendar year. Not to be sniffed at. If we pop through to the calculations tab, you'll be able to see my portfolio broken down in a little bit more detail. Again, over here, we've got my current market invested gain or loss. So I've currently got just over £4,000 in unrealised gain. Investments sold, this is when I sold out of a Life Strategy 100 about 3 or so years ago now. and I netted a profit of just over £340. My gross interest is just coming up for £4.50, so £4.47. My dividends over the 5 years that I've invested, I've earned over £900 in dividends, sat at £907.26. Again, that is just cash that I've made for having my money invested in the ETFs that I'm investing in. More on that in a minute. But that's far greater than any savings account would ever afford you. Yes, obviously there is the risk that you could potentially lose all of your money, but that is largely or very, very unlikely when you follow an ETF investing strategy. So £907.26 of dividends I am very happy with indeed. And all of that for the small amount of charges of £72.95. And you can see that all equates to the total overall gain of £5,183.65. We'll click through to the month just so you can kind of see actually what's been going on over the last few months, because obviously we've not had an update of late. And this breaks it down from my opening balance to my closing balance, includes any fees, any charges that I've incurred, as well as any dividends that I've earned. So down the left hand side you've got the month, and you can see that actually since October or November even, we've had some really positive, really green months. Some months netting me over £700 of return, and I've seen that actually on 3 occasions in November, December and February of this year as well. So it's been a really consistent and positive picture. What we'll also do is we'll click through to the investments tab over here. Again, make sure that it's set to inception. And this breaks down each of the individual investments that I currently hold. So the first is the FTSE Emerging Market ETF. I've invested £3,324.11. Currently got an unrealised gain of just over £123. With an income, so a dividend income of £157.59, which gives me a gross overall return of just over 19% or £280.72. The next one we've got here is the FTSE Developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, so that's Asia Pacific area without Japan. I've invested £1,043.57, seeing an unrealised return of £55.13 and a dividend income of £84.07, giving me a total overall rate of return of 27.6% or £139.20. The FTSE 100 is the next on the list, invested just under £2,000 into this ETF. I've got an unrealised loss or gain of £416.35, a massive dividend income for a fairly small percentage of my portfolio at £233.70, seeing a gross return of 62% or £646.81. The S&P 500, I'm targeting 50% of this as my overall portfolio. I've invested £8,476.51, which has seen an unrealised gain of £2,863.63, a dividend income of £271.95, and a gross return of 102.83%, giving me a total return on my S&P 500 investment of £3,144.45. The next is the FTSE Japan. So as I said, I hold the Asia Pacific ex Japan. So this fund gives me my Japanese allocation. I've invested £1,510.02, seen an unrealised return of £162.19, dividend income of just under £56, a gross return of 25.78%, and a total overall return of £218.14. And my final ETF that I hold is the Developed Europe ex-UK, because of course I hold the FTSE 100. I've invested £2,289.31. That's given me an unrealised gain of £383.04, a dividend income of just over £100, and a gross return of £486.85, or just under 40%. So there we go, a really quick overview of my Vanguard portfolio. This is of course an ISA, so any money held within this portfolio isn't liable for tax, which means that all of this cash I can draw down whenever I want, but I am holding this for the long term, for the future. As I said, this is around 70% of my overall net worth, my overall portfolio, but check out my next 2 videos on my T212 portfolio and my Coinbase portfolio to see where the rest of my wealth is held and what I hold it in. So I'm finishing this video, my portfolio is valued at £22,643.65, with me yet to make my May 2024 investment, and that sees a total personal rate of return of 67.71%. As I said, this has all been going on now for just over 5 years. It's more money than I've ever had. It's more money than I ever expected to be able to achieve and make. And this is all just through consistent, slow investing. If you haven't started investing, Vanguard is a fantastic platform to use, but there's also Trading 212. There's a link down in the description below that will give you a free share valued worth up to £100 when you sign up and begin investing on the platform, which can give you that kickstart to start your portfolio and your own investing journey. Even if it's just £10 a month, every little helps. So thank you very much for checking in and seeing my Vanguard portfolio update. As I said, lots more content to come very soon. Thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you continue to enjoy watching my portfolio updates and seeing actually what the real person can achieve. If you want to see what I predicted my overall portfolio to be at different increments throughout my life, you can check out this video up here next. And if you want to start investing with as little as £100 and not sure how or where to do it, check out this video which will show you exactly how to do just that. I'll catch you in the next one.